afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference, our weekly football press conference. This Saturday, the Citadel will play Furman here at Johnson Haygood as a kickoff of 2 p.m. And to take your questions, we have head coach Maurice Drayton. Coach.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. First and foremost, we want to give our heartfelt sympathy and concerns to everyone affected by Hurricane Helene. Anytime there's a tragedy of that magnitude, sports become minute, and the human being becomes first. So continued prayers out to everyone affected, or those who know someone who went through it. Congratulations once again to our young men and women in our program who received their rings this weekend. Big weekend on the Citadel campus, being Parents Weekend. And a big thank you to those fans, those parents, those supporters, the cadets that stayed the entire game. Thank you very much. At this time, I'll open it up to questions.
Coach, good afternoon. You keep mentioning about the MAs, the missed assignments. Is there something, kind of one thing that you can point your finger to, kind of, I don't know about why they keep happening, but why they keep happening?
Yeah, man, if I had the exact reason on why they're happening, I would stop it. I will tell you this, it's not any one position group, right? So we went back and we've studied our teaching methodology. We studied conceptually things that we are doing. And to be honest with you, no, we're not happy with that. Offensively, the missed assignments last 3 weeks have went from 28, 29 to 30 missed assignments. And you will not be able to beat ball clubs who are more athletically inclined than you are making those kind of mistakes. You'll only be able to play good and to be in the game. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to win ball games.
Obviously, you guys got down in this end zone, 4th and 1. You shot it to kick a field goal. How much thought was there to go for it instead of kicking the field goal?
Yeah, so I'm very pragmatic with my thought process. And when we got the ball on that drive, I had a line of demarcation to go for it on 4th down versus kicking the field goal. At that time, kicking the field goal would have tied the game. We were struggling moving the ball consistently offensively. So, I didn't know when we would be back in that area. So based upon stats and what we've been doing previously in the game and in that drive, and we decided we wanted to try to tie the game at that point. The thing about special teams, everybody say, oh, man, the kicker missed it or it was blocked. Truth of the matter is, if you go back and look at the tape, he actually slipped. So when he slipped, the ball had a low trajectory, and they were able to block it. The actual timing from snap to from snap to holder to kick was roughly 128. Science, mathematics tells us if I'm 125 to 128, they will not block it unless the trajectory is changed. And when he slipped, the trajectory was low, and that young man was able to get it. So, we're looking at those cleats. We're looking at the field surface. We're looking at all those components because defensively and offensively, we had the same things happen. So we're taking a deep dive into that as well.
How much do you rely on analytics? I mean, obviously in the NFL they're huge. Even in college football they're huge. But like, say that 4th and 1, what did analytics tell you? And then how much do you buy into that?
Yeah, I do listen to analytics, but I trust my heart first because analytics does not have a heart component. It doesn't know the individuals on your team, what they ate for breakfast, what they ate for pregame meal, whose parents got delayed in getting here. So I look at the analytics, but I trust my heart. And like I just previously stated, I had a line of demarcation based upon that drive at the beginning of that drive, which our offensive staff knew where they had to get the ball in order for me to, go for it on 4th down.
just offensive production as a whole, after you've kind of had time to look at film, just what's the big point of emphasis for your offense this week heading into Furman too?
Well, the emphasis is always to score. We have to score points. We can't settle for 3-pointers. We have to get touchdowns. So the emphasis is finishing drives in the box, meaning scoring a touchdown versus kicking field goals. And we have a really good field goal kicker. We attempted that 50-yarder into the wind because he's hit it at practice. And, he hit the ball really well. And it was just, as the ball was reaching its apex, there was a gust of wind that just kept it from continuing to go. We can't control that. That's Mother. Mother always wins, Mother Nature.
Going off the offensive production, some of it, the past 2 games, you guys have been down 10, 14 points. What do y'all need to do to get the running game going?
Yeah, so we have faced some really good running defenses so far. But to answer your question, we have to execute. In our run game, we had a big play going towards our scoreboard, and I never want to point out individual kids, young men. I don't want to call them kids, young men. We had missed blocking assignments, but yet we had a big gain. So those are the things that doesn't filter up. So it goes back to the missed assignments. We had another big game, maybe 42-yard game, triple option. Charlie Taft was smiling down on us, but we had a penalty on that play, a IBB. You never blame the officials, but we know the rules, so don't put yourself in that situation. So to your point, when we have those big plays, when we have those opportunities, we can't negate them ourselves, and that's what we've been doing. Yeah, and last year we didn't have to, worry about that. We didn't see that. So this year the expectation is to score, and when we settle for 3, and we'll take it. We want to finish every drive with a kick. There is some of a frustration, but we have to rally around ourselves, and we're going to get an opportunity to get the ball back, and let's execute on the next drive.
I know some of you've been interested in recruiting the last couple of years. Talk about the team speed and what you were trying to do, what you hope to accomplish, and where you guys are team speed.
Yeah, and this is what we do with our team. And I opened up last year telling the truth, and I will always tell the truth. The truth is our team speed is below average in the Southern Conference, and we know that. We have had 27 explosive passes this year. Only 3 of them have gone for touchdowns because we'll catch the big pass, but we don't have the ability to score off of it. Let's take our first drive, for instance. We only got 3 points. JB completed a long ball to Tyler Cherry, and we weren't able to score off of that pass play because it goes back to team speed. Now, I'm not attacking Tyler Cherry. Let's make sure before everybody gets upset, we're not. One thing about this team, we understand our limitations as well as our capabilities. But to your question, we have to be able to go out and recruit more team speed across the board from top to bottom. In addition to that, you can help yourself with recruiting guys who are true football guys, who play fast, who have play speed. And our guys who we have now, who have the speed that the great architect of the sky gave us, what we're trying to do now is increase their speed by play speed. If you can see and read something, then you're able to react, that much faster.
Looking at the quarterback, obviously Dustin got in for a drive, not to kind of give away any game plans. Do you envision kind of going forward, him maybe getting a few drives a game?
Absolutely. Once again, we said we're building a program and not a season. It is very important to Dustin's maturation process that he gets meaningful snaps, meaningful drives, not just what we call at the end of the game crumbs. So, yes, you will see that going forward. It's no secret.
Looking at Furman, I guess Furman's game Saturday got postponed. Any kind of concern going into this Saturday?
Well, there's always a concern, and I mentioned it post-game last week. Anytime you go through adversity, what good coaches do, and Clay is a great coach, I tell you, they're going to galvanize. They're going to rally around each other. They're going to rally around the circumstance. It's nothing like a locker room that faces adversity, being able to come together and swim in the same direction. I actually spoke with Coach Clay Hendricks, and we had good conversation, and we're going to do any and everything on our end that can help them make the transition easier in preparation for the game as well.
I know their quarterback from last year's now Jacksonville State. What have you seen out of this year's Furman club?
Well, this year's Furman club to me is strong. They're playing two quarterbacks. One's a true freshman. One is a redshirt sophomore out of Tennessee, Carson Jones. The true freshman, Trey Heading. I feel as if they're doing a great job. The 2023 Conference Freshman of the Year at quarterback was Carson. So, he can play. He has played, and he's very effective. If you look at their offensive outputs, that went 336 against Charleston Southern. Go back and check the stat line. They led almost every stat line except for the turnovers, and that's why they lost that game. Then you fast forward, they put up 510 yards against Stetson. They put up 348 against William and Mary. So this offense is potent. They can get after it. They have a senior receiver, a true senior receiver out of Noonan, Georgia, Josh Harris, who's ranked 12th nationally right now in receptions.
Talk a little about turnovers. You guys certainly have caused 4 of them last week against ETSU, and I know you're a little frustrated that you didn't score more points off those turnovers. But you're getting turnovers, and then how do you then turn them into points?
So we're getting turnovers, and I mentioned it last week about when I was the defensive coordinator here the last time. We led the country, definitely led the conference. It may have been second in the country. I can't remember in turnovers. For touchdowns. So we are implementing drills once we get turnovers, how we fall into our assignments, blocking assignments, we turn it into a punt return play so that we can score. I'm never satisfied. The guys know it. We always want one more. But I will give some defensive superlatives right now. Through 5 games this year versus last year, we have 11 sacks. Last year it was only 3. We have 5 forced fumbles. Last year it was only 2. We have 30 tackles for loss. Last year it was 14. This year we have 12 total takeaways. Last year, the same time, it was 6. So we're going to continue to get better, and we're going to continue to try to capitalize on those opportunities.
Just talking about the improvement from last year, what's been key in these guys just improving from last year to this year on defense?
The investment that they made in themselves in the offseason. We've talked about the offseason ad nauseum, but that investment, but we still have meat on the bone, so to speak. We can still get better, and we're going to get better. We're real excited about this opponent coming in here. Those of you who've been around understand that, our rival is Furman. Our rival is VMI, but our rival is Furman. Being both from the great state of South Carolina, upon graduation of these 2 illustrious institutions, we work together. We break bread together. We go to church together. So it gives you long-lasting, bragging rights, so to speak. So it's important for our guys to win this game. When you meet Citadel grads on the street that have played athletics, one of the first questions you get outside of what company you were in, what year did you graduate, is how many times did you beat Furman?
Looking at Furman's defense, I know they use kind of a rover or a bandit guy a lot. I think we see that a lot in the SoCon, but just what do you see out of that guy from them?
Yeah, so first of all, they have a linebacker that's the real deal. Evan DiMaggio, he has 32 tackles this season already, 2.5 tackles for loss, 1 interception, 5 quarterback hurries. This guy's all over the field. He's like an Energizer bunny. And then they have, to that position you were talking about, not 1 but 2 safeties that are playing at a very, very high level with lots of stats to support it. So we have to be mindful where they are, and we definitely have to know where that backer is I just mentioned in Evan.
Yeah, JB's thrown a couple of pick sixes. How do you kind of clean that up?
Yeah, he has to have the mindset of a defensive back, forget it, drive on, next play, which he has that ability to do. I'm just glad that he is able to do that. I've been around some where they get in a dump, and it's tough to bring them out.
Just talk about Dominic Poole and kind of the season he's having right now, and I know he had to kind of switch positions here a little bit, and just talk about him.
Yeah, very proud of Dominic Poole. He was one that we played at the corner position, and when we moved this position, there was a little bit of a reservation, but he has nestled into this nickel role where we're able to blitz him off the edge. We drop him in the coverage. Because he is playing nickel, we can put him in man-to-man on the slot receiver. A lot of times that's the better receiver. And at the same time, he's not afraid of contact. He'll stick his nose with our defense. Sometimes he has to get all the way down in the A-gap and the B-gap responsibilities to stop the run. So he's carved out a nice little niche for himself. I'm excited to watch him the rest of the way. He has aspirations to have an opportunity to play at the next level. And if he can just keep maintaining what he's doing, we'll do everything in our power to help him reach his goals.
Just going back, when you look at a team like Furman with linebackers and safeties that you say you got to watch for, do you change your offense at all, or do you just play your scheme, or do you kind of play to miss those guys?
No, what we have to do, we have to be mindful of where they are, and we have to hone in. When we opened up the press conference, we talked about the MAs. We have to eliminate those MAs and play sound assignment football first, and then we have to, if we can't do it when we're blocking it the right way, then we change the offense, and then we change various things. But right now, we have to give ourselves a chance.
What do you remember about Hugo when you were growing up? I mean, were you in junior high or high school? Or?
I was in junior high. At that time, my family was living in Canton, Ohio. And after Hugo hit, we rushed to South Carolina, my grandmother's house in Georgetown, 834 Duke Street. The roof was gone. Lost everything. And that was probably one of the driving forces that brought my father to move the family back home. We had to rebuild the family house, and there was work in the community to do. He's a servant leader, so that's what brought us back, and I'm glad we came back.
That kind of led into my next question. Have you talked with Trey? Have they made it back to Johnson City?
Yes, I did talk with Trey. We had a very good conversation post-game. We had a good conversation that night. They stayed an additional night, and they left out 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. It's tough up there. My heart goes out to that community. If there's anything we can do, we are more than willing to do that. They're going to be all right. That's a good ball club. They should be nationally ranked. They will be nationally ranked. I think they're 23rd, right? If the rankings, I think that's about right, 23rd in the country. So you have them ranked. You have Mercer ranked. The Southern Conference is getting back to where you and I remember it to be. 2-2. If I count the year that I redshirted, I believe that was Travis Jervey's senior year. I think we clipped them off, but I was a scout team guy then, so. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.